Opportunity to coach a team like the Clippers, who I love their roster, I love the team.
His Cavaliers won a title with LeBron James on the team. The Clippers think he can do it again without LeBron, but with their players this year. Lou getting a 5-year contract. Randy Cardoon, KNX 1070 News Radio.
There are more Kobes and Giannas this year following the tragic deaths of NBA legend Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna Bryant. Parenting resource site Baby Center says there's been a spike in the number of newborns who were named after Kobe and Gianna in 2020. Based on the data on more than 500,000 new babies, Kobe is number 216 on the list of most popular names, making a huge jump from the number 595 spot. The name Gianna rose to number 24, just like one of Kobe's jersey numbers. It's 5:20. We'll look at your money, brought to you by PacificCoastTermite.com. Here's Mona Rivera.
Stocks finished lower as investors awaited the outcome of stimulus talks. The Dow fell 98 points, 1/3%. The S&P and the Nasdaq both lost about 1/4%. Social media stocks among the day's big winners after a blowout quarterly report from Snap, the parent company of Snapchat. Snap stock jumped 28%. Facebook gained 4%. Twitter more than 8%. The nation's largest auto dealer chain rallied after reporting a record profit in the third quarter. AutoNation raking in nearly double what it earned last year. It's because people were shunning public transportation in the pandemic and rushing to buy used cars. PayPal and Bitcoin rallied after word that PayPal will let customers use Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as a funding source for purchases. PayPal says a shift to digital currency is inevitable in the future of global finance and commerce. We check your money at 20 and 50 after each hour. I'm Bloomberg's Mona Rivera from the HMS Capital Money Desk, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Researchers want to bring children into the development of a COVID-19 vaccine. We'll have more in 90 seconds. It's 5:22.
It's the last time they'll face each other.
It's a political game he's playing.
It's the last chance to get your votes.
Suburban women should love Trump.
It's the final presidential debate.
How do you lose to a guy like this?
Hear it live tomorrow night beginning at 6. The final presidential debate.
This is the most important election of our lifetime.
Listen online at radio.com, on your smart speaker, on the radio.com app, and on air at KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
It's Dean, and if you're looking for a spooktacular new tradition this fall, look to KiwiCo. KiwiCo has hands-on art and science projects for kids of all ages delivered to your doorstep. With KiwiCo, kids can build a glowing pendulum, create a scratch art lantern, explore kid-friendly chemistry, and more, all from the comfort of home. Everything you need to make STEAM seriously fun, delivered monthly to your doorstep. Get to kiwico.com/local today to save 30% on your first month. That's KIWICO.com/local.
Howdy, neighbors.
Hey,
Hi, Gary.
Have you guys seen Owning's 15-year fixed mortgage rate?
No. Are they good?
Good. They're great. Today, their 15-year fixed is 1.75%, 1.998 APR.
Wow. 15-year fixed. 1.75%, 1.998 APR.
Owning Corporation, Equal Housing Lender, licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS 17976. Call 833-852-6464 for terms and conditions.
And look at Owning's actual customer reviews online. They're also great.
Well, honey, obviously we should refi now with Owning. For today's 15-year fixed, 1.75%, 1.998 APR.
Yep, we just need to call 8555-OWNING.
That's 8555-OWNING. Or go online to Owning. Nice.
Updating a crash on the 405 in the Valley and a problem on the 110 in downtown L.A. when we check the roads again in 90 seconds. It's 5:23.
Well, children usually do not get as sick with COVID as adults do. They are important in the chain of transmission of the disease, which is why vaccine developers want to study how potential vaccines might work on them.
In fact, the developers now in global trials for a COVID vaccine are turning their attention increasingly to younger children and adolescents.
Children account for over 1/5 of the population in the United States.
Dr. Jennifer Schuster is a pediatric infectious disease physician at Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City.
So just looking at it from that perspective, if we don't think about vaccines in children, then we're ignoring 1/5 of the population, which is not insignificant, as you can imagine.
Vaccine developers have also lately stepped up efforts to get minorities enrolled in clinical trials, since some vaccines work differently in different racial groups. Charles Feldman, KNX 1070 News Radio.
One of the most celebrated jazz pianists in the world is breaking his silence about why he had to walk away from it all.
2 years after he abruptly canceled a performance at Carnegie Hall, Keith Jarrett tells the New York Times 2 strokes within months left him partially paralyzed, and it's unlikely he'll ever play in public again. Once one of the most heralded pianists alive, Jarrett, now 75, says he spent time at a nursing facility trying to pretend he was Bach, playing with one hand. He says it took him a long time to learn how to get around with a cane. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Some federal lawmakers making things a little more interesting as the LA Dodgers and the Tampa Bay Rays square off in the 2020 World Series. Southern California Congressman Adam Schiff and Jimmy Gomez have made a friendly wager with 2 Tampa Bay representatives. If LA wins, the 2 Democrats from Florida will wear Dodgers face masks on the House floor when Congress returns to session. If Tampa Bay wins, we'll see Congressman Schiff and Gomez wearing Rays masks. Mr. Schiff says he has several Dodger masks to spare for his Floridian colleagues, adding he looks forward to seeing them sporting Dodger blue on the House floor.
And the Rays are up 1-0. Foreign interference in the 2020 presidential election. That's what U.S. intelligence officials are saying. We have a special report coming up at the bottom of the hour. It's 5:25.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes to 5 is brought to you by Nick Alexander Imports. Here's Denise Fondo.
Got an update on that crash on the 405 in the San Fernando Valley, northbound side before Burbank. Got 3 cars involved in this one. Now, this all started as a stalled car. Santa Monica Boulevard is where you hit the brakes as you head into the valley. In fact, past this crash at Stop and Go as you head into North Hills. The update on that problem in East LA on the 60 westbound, blocking the Indiana off-ramp. It looks like everybody is okay, and that's good news. LA County Fire Department was there with that when one of the cars was catching on fire. Now, let's go to Scott, 5 Burbank, Southern California Toyota dealers, Jam Cam.
Northbound side of the 5 at Burbank Boulevard, Empire there. Looks like there's a disabled pickup truck blocking the left lane. That's going to add to some of the slowing from the 134 heading up to about Hollywood Way. But before you get there, it's slow out of the East LA interchange as you head into Atwater Village. Some southbound 5 slowing through Burbank down toward the 134, and then tough again from Los Feliz Boulevard heading into Elysian Park. Problem on the 110 in downtown with Brian.
It's our northbound side at 9th Street. We've got somebody stalled out, partially blocking your right lane, and that's just adding to your already difficult drive. Your slowing starts right about Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, stays heavy to the 5, and your southbound side from Stadium Way. That's the difficult side. That's going to be heavy down to about Florence. Denise.
Wondering if you're paying too much for auto insurance? You know, it's easy to find out at AAA.com/insurance. You could save an average of $537. So stop wondering, start saving. Visit AAA.com/insurance for your free quote. Next report, 5:35 with more traffic reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Clouds and fog tonight, partly cloudy tomorrow. Right now, 68 in Santa Monica, 72 in Fountain Valley, 73 degrees in Van Nuys.
Former President Barack Obama came out strong for Joe Biden in Philadelphia today, giving a strong rebuke of President Trump. We'll have more in 3 minutes. It's 5:27.
Thinking about life insurance? Did you know in just a few minutes you can find the best price from up to 10 price competitive companies for free? You can with SelectQuote. For example, George is 39. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $22 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino, and believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. We shop some of the most trusted life insurance companies to save you time and money. Within minutes, you can find the right price for you for free. Go to SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
This is Joe. Joe thinks he's seen it all.
I've seen it all. Gold-encrusted pork chop? Seen it. Cat with a dog tattoo? Seen it.
But when it comes to identity theft, Joe only monitors his credit and bank statements.
Credit fraud? Seen it.
He doesn't realize that with so much of his personal info out there, his identity could be at risk in ways he might never know about, like a new loan in his name or his personal info for sale on the dark web.
Whoa, didn't see that coming.
LifeLock helps detect and alerts you to a wide range of identity threats. If there's a problem, a dedicated U.S.-based specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock sees threats you could miss on your own.
Oh, now I see what you mean.
Right now, save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com/radio.
Did you just say 25% off at LifeLock.com/radio?
I did.
Okay, now I've seen everything.
Seriously, who's blowing up my phone? Oh, yeah. Powerball.
This is your big reminder from the California Lottery. The Powerball jackpot is over $75 million. Play now. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase, play, or claim.
At Stater Brothers Markets, we believe when it comes to feeding your family, you shouldn't have to pay more for great quality. That's why we say, if you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference?
It's time to bake. Now through Tuesday, pick up our own Stater Brothers butter. The 16-ounce quarters are just $2.99. And get 5 pounds of our Stater Brothers all-purpose flour for a low $1.49.
Stater Brothers Markets family of brands. If you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference?
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic.
Politicians. Researchers also concluded the tweets led to support for the administration's anti-immigration policies that adversely affect Asian Americans. Emily Valdez, KNX 1070 News Radio.
LA County is relaxing restrictions for schools and wineries and breweries. We have the details after traffic. It's 5:35.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes to 5 is brought to you by Nick Alexander Imports. Here's Denise Fondo.
Southgate, 710 North at Firestone. You've got a solo car crash, and now that car is catching on fire. It's out of lanes. It's on the embankment. You've got slow traffic on that northbound side as you come away from the 105. Let's head to Scott, get an update on our 405 Sherman Oaks crash. Southern California Toyota dealers jam cam.
405 northbound right at Burbank Boulevard. Crash made it up to the right shoulder, but they're still waiting on a tow truck there, so the right lane could potentially be blocked once they get there to clear those cars out of there. Several vehicles involved there. So you do have a backup starting right around Getty Center Drive with slowing as far back as Santa Monica Boulevard. But even north of the problem, it's going to be on and off slow heading up to about Nordhoff. Some additional slowing approaching the 5. Southbound in good shape until you get down around the 10, and from that point it's going to be sluggish as you work your way through Culver City. Some issues on the 91 in Anaheim Hills with Brian.
If you are eastbound, which most of you are at this time of the afternoon, we've got a stall in the left fast track lane, so watch out for that. May need both lanes shut down while they get this car out of your way. Your fast track is actually moving nicely from about Imperial as you make your way over to the stall, and your main line loads up at the scales. That stays slow out towards Green River. Denise.
In Commerce on the 5 northbound, a little bit before Atlantic, we've got a stuck car reported in the left lane, and another problem reported on the 10. This is on the eastbound side of the 10, just west of Indian Hill. Looks like we've got a stalled car there in the number 2 lane, so I'm sure we'll see a break in traffic for that. If you're driving less but you still want to enjoy the journey, come check out Nick Alexander's Wholesale District. Low mileage lease and finance offers through Mini FS. Call 800-800-NIC or online at alexandermini.com. And remember, Nick can't say no. Next report, 5:45 with more traffic reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Cooling trend through Sunday. Clouds and fog spreading inland tonight with lows in the 50s and 60s. Partly cloudy tomorrow with highs in the mid-60s at the beaches, mid-70s inland, around 80 in the valleys. Your exclusive 5-day forecast coming up at 5:45. Current temperature is 68 in Culver City, 72 in Irvine, 77 in Northridge.
It's 5:37. While citing concerning increases in new cases and test positivity rates this month, LA County officials are preparing to ease some restrictions on schools and businesses.
The county plans to let more English learners and other high-need students return to campus for in-person instruction. And changes are coming for some businesses. Reservations will no longer be required at breweries and wineries, which were recently allowed to reopen outdoors. Wineries will no longer have to serve food. Family entertainment centers will get to resume operations outdoors. Supervisor Catherine Barger says she hopes this provides some relief for county residents looking to get out of their homes.
These updates will also bring more employees back to work. The latest data we received from our Workforce Development, Aging, and Community Services Department indicates a 16% unemployment rate in Los Angeles County. While this number is distressing, especially compared with our unemployment numbers in January and February of this year, we know that there are many more residents who are suffering from the economic toll of the continued closures.
Officials say they're working on allowing massage parlors, tattoo shops, and other personal care services to resume limited indoor operations. The county's estimated transmission rate indicates we can expect growing spread. More than 290,000 residents have tested positive for COVID-19, and more than 6,900 have died since the pandemic began. Claudia Pescuta, KNX 1070 News Radio.
The LA County Health Department says a church in Walnut and an event organizer will be cited for holding a family fair against county orders. Hundreds of people attended the event on a Mission Church last Saturday. There was entertainment that included a puppet show and petting zoo. Asian Industry B2B organized the fair. Its president, Mark Yang, tells KNX his group will fight the citations in court.
And I think it's selective targeting of our church and also people that may be on the conservative leaning, like our organization. And, that's just unfair.
He says a women's march was allowed on the same day. Says there was social distancing at the fair, mask requirements, and temperature checks for guests. The county had warned the Church in Ang not to hold the fair.
The heads of major theme parks in the state are urging the health experts and the governor to reconsider restrictions on when they can reopen again. Some say the restrictions are unfairly targeting their businesses.
Members of the California Attraction and Parks Association made the argument that saying theme parks can't open until the areas they're located in are at so-called yellow status for COVID transmission make very little sense when you look at the overall risks at other sites. Kurt Stocks, president of Legoland California Resort, says parks' health standards far exceed those applied to beaches, museums, and other areas where people gather.
We have protocols put in place to be able to 100% control the experience for guests, right from capacity management through to increased sanitization protocols to screening of guests before they enter our property.
The association is urging health officials to take into account more than just health issues in drafting reopening rules, things such as the impacts that prolonged unemployment are having on the mental and financial well-being of tens of thousands of theme park employees. Pete Demetrio, KNX 1070 News Radio.
CDC has just come out with new guidance on social distancing when it comes to being near someone with COVID-19. For months, CDC officials have been saying close contact meant spending a solid 15 minutes within 6 feet of somebody who tested positive. But now they have changed that to a total of 15 minutes or more. So briefer but repeated contacts that add up to 15 minutes now count. The CDC made the change because of a study they did in a Vermont prison.
Another check of the roads at 545, including a crash on the 405 in Irvine. We'll also be updating an issue on the 110 in Carson. It's 541.
Jerry Reynolds here, the Car Pro for my only certified Chevy dealer in Southern California, Rotolo Chevrolet. You'll see why when you visit their #1 in the entire state of California. Mike Capozio, the general manager, is not only my friend, but a true professional committed to your service and satisfaction. They'll help you find new roads at Rotolo Chevrolet on South Highland in Fontana. Take the 210 freeway, exit Sierra. Connect direct with Mike at carprousa.com or their website, rotolo.com.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get new car replacement, so if your car is totaled, Farmers will pay to replace it with a new one of the same make and model, like reuniting with an old friend with the added benefit of that new car smell. So it's really new car and new car smell replacement. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Now for the legal something.
Optional coverage not available in every state. Only available with select Farmers branded policy, subject to terms and conditions. Underwritten by Farmers Truck and Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
No one likes waiting in long lines, especially during the pandemic. Luckily for LA County voters, you can completely skip the line. How? Vote by mail. All registered voters will be sent a vote-by-mail ballot so you have a safe voting option in the presidential election. Fill it out in the safety of your home and return your completed ballot early. Let's get every vote in. Visit plan.lavote.net for more information.
Hi, I'm Scott Jusium, the owner and founder of the Tax Defense Group. And for the past 20 years, my team of tax experts have been changing the lives of our clients and taking away the fears of owing the government.
I was so scared that the IRS was going to come for me. The Tax Defense Group did everything they said they would do. My tax matter is resolved. I can now sleep at night and can focus on the important things in my family's lives.
As we approach this scary season, people have enough on their plate to be scared of. With this pandemic, families are not only concerned about their health and wellness, but even more scared about how they will continue to put food on the table. The government is now shutting down Halloween around the country, but they are not shutting down the IRS or the aggressive tax collections. If you have unfiled tax returns or you have a back tax debt, you need to call the Tax Defense Group right now.
For a free, no-obligation consultation, call 855-TAX-BILL, 855-TAX-BILL. That's 855-829-2455.
At Stater Brothers Markets, we believe when it comes to feeding your family, you shouldn't have to pay more for great quality. That's why we say, if you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference?
It's time to bake. Now through Tuesday, pick up our own Stater Brothers butter. The 16-ounce quarters are just $2.99. And get 5 pounds of our Stater Brothers all-purpose flour for a low $1.49.
Stater Brothers Markets family of brands. If you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference?
I never planned on being in an accident, but that truck didn't stop. The truck accident left me with so many questions. Do I have the best doctors? What about my car? The medical bills? Work? I need help. I gotta call the Barnes Firm. That was the best call I could have made.
At the Barnes Firm, we've handled thousands of accident cases. Our team works to answer all of your questions and help each client get the best result possible. Attorney John Sheehan is responsible for the content of this advertisement. West 5th Street, Los Angeles.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
544, I'm Rob Archer.
And I'm Karen Adams. Coming up.
The Director of National Intelligence says Iran and Russia have been caught trying to interfere with the U.S. election.
I'm Bloomberg's Mona Rivera. Tesla posted a strong earnings report after the bell. That story is coming up in 5 minutes.
LA County starts granting waivers for schools to resume in-person instruction for kids in TK through 2nd grade.
These stories coming up in the next 15 minutes, but first at 5:45, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes at 5 is brought to you by the Auto Club of Southern California. Here's Denise Fondo.
Anaheim Hills, 91 eastbound, coming up on the 241. We're just getting a report of a new crash there. Looks like we might have an injury wreck. Everybody cleared out of lanes to the right shoulder. Big backup on that eastbound side that begins before Imperial Highway. And in Irvine on the 405 north past Jeffrey Road, that crash cleared out of the left lane to the right shoulder. I see slowing starting just before you reach Sand Canyon. Let's check in with Brian Douglas. Problem on the 110 in Carson.
This is going to be our southbound side right as you get to Carson Street. I appreciate the 2 tip calls on this. That a bunch of police cruisers went screaming by him. Looks like police activity here affecting both sides of the freeway, although it looks like speeds are improving. Southbound side of the 110, you are going to be heavy from the 91, and your northbound side of the 110 from Sepulveda, making your way up to Carson Street. You'll see some delays there. Let's go back to Sherman Oaks, get an update on the problem on the 405. Scott's got the Southern California Toyota Dealers 405 Jam Cam.
Well, we've had this crash on the 405 northbound right at Burbank Boulevard. It did make it off to the right shoulder, but expect the right lane to be affected as the tow truck gets in there and tries to get these cars out of there. Immediate backup starting about Sunset Boulevard at this point. You will have slowing north of the problem up to about Nordhoff, and expect some additional slowing as you approach the 5, Denise.
On the 5 southbound at Soto Street, right at the Soto Street off-ramp, we've got a stalled car reported, and that is partially blocking that far right lane. You want auto insurance with great savings and peace of mind? The choice is clear. Auto insurance for the Auto Club. Get your free quote today at AAA.com/insurance. You can save an average of $537 a year. Next report, 5:55 with more traffic reports. More often, I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center. KNX 1070 News Radio.
The cooling trend that we've been talking about has arrived, and we're going to continue to see those temperatures cool even more to below average territory from now through the end of the weekend. Highs tomorrow will be in the upper 60s for the beaches, low 70s for LA and Orange County Metro, upper 70s for the valleys, upper 70s for the Inland Empire, low 80s for the high deserts, and upper 60s for the mountains. With Southern California's most accurate and dependable forecast, I'm CBS 2 meteorologist Amber Lee for KNX 1070 News Radio.
Current temperature is 66 in Malibu, 72 in Santa Ana, and 68 degrees in Hawthorne.
It's 5:47. Iran and Russia are working to interfere with next month's election. That's according to U.S. intelligence officials. Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe says a threatening email sent to Democratic voters claiming to be from the far-right group Proud Boys has been traced to Iran.
Although we have not seen the same actions from Russia, we are aware that they have obtained some voter information just as they did in 2016. Rest assured that we are prepared for the possibility of actions by those hostile to democracy.
Ratcliffe called on Americans to not let voter intimidation efforts have their intended consequences. If you get an intimidating or manipulative email, Ratcliffe says don't be alarmed and don't pass it on to others. CBS News will have more on this at the top of the hour.
Senate Democrats say they're going to skip tomorrow's confirmation vote in the Judiciary Committee on Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett. Loyola Law School professor Lori Levinson says the action won't have an impact on the result.
Even though the Democrats are boycotting because they believe that it's an illegitimate proceeding, under the Senate rules and the control by the Republicans, you can expect that Judge Barrett will be confirmed.
And it's because the Democrats have 10 members on the committee and the Republicans have 12.
L.A. County Sheriff's investigators say the sexual assault and murder of a teenage girl from Boyle Heights is no longer an unsolved crime.
Nobody knew it a year ago when L.A. police arrested Jose Luis Garcia on suspicion of domestic violence. His DNA was entered into the state's database. Sheriff's investigators searched and found a hit for a cold case. The murder of 17-year-old Gladys Arellano, killed late January 1996.
The body of an unidentified female was discovered in the Topanga Canyon area of Malibu. The victim was found partially clothed. She had been sexually assaulted. 17-year-old Gladys Arellano of Boyle Heights.
It was extremely painful for all of us to lose her and live through 24 and a half years of not knowing who killed her.
Jose Luis Garcia was tracked down to Dallas, Texas. He's been arraigned. He's being held on $1 million bail. Craig Figner, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Pandemic's apparently giving more people a sweet tooth. The National Confectioners Association says candy sales are up 4% since March compared to last year.
It's an escape from what's been a really weird year.
Christopher Grindelsberger with the association tells KNX sales are up this Halloween season, too, even though a lot of public officials are discouraging trick-or-treating. He says research shows people are feeling optimistic about the holiday.
80% of people believe that they'll find creative and safe ways to celebrate the Halloween season, and that's up from just 63% in July.
Gum and mint sales are down nearly 30%, with more people social distancing and working from home. It's 5:50 with a look at your money. Here's Mona Rivera.
It's an up and down week for Wall Street, and this was a down day. The Dow fell 98 points, 1/3%. The S&P dropped 0.2%, and the Nasdaq lost close to 0.3%. Shares of Tesla rose in after-hours trading after it posted a stronger than expected quarterly report after the bell. It's selling a ton of Model 3 electric cars in China, and here in the States, it expects the Fremont plant to hit full capacity by the end of the year. That's more than 500,000 electric cars. The Fed's Beige Book survey of economic conditions was released, and it shows lingering weakness in the recovery related to the coronavirus pandemic. Home loans could total $3.2 trillion this year, the most in 17 years. That according to the Mortgage Bankers Association, which says the spike in refinancing and new mortgages is due to record low interest rates. We check your money at 20 and 50 after each hour. I'm Bloomberg's Mona Rivera from the HMS Capital Money Desk, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Some groups say California needs to spend the money to reduce huge destructive wildfires in the state. We'll have the details 90 seconds away. It's 5:51.
You check your phone, 30 times a day? Because new stuff is always coming in. It's